You're watching Man Coverage with Nate Schmidt and James Bonneville on National Streaming Sports.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is August 31, 2025, college football week number 1. James, it's back. We are officially back.
Week 0 just doesn't sound right. I'm sorry. It's just the whole week 0 thing.
Yeah,
I know we got to call it that, but it's so stupid.
I hate saying that. That's actually week 1. But
yeah.
Whatever. We'll say it's week 1 now because it actually is. It was awesome having college football back. I have to admit, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I still feel great after watching the games. Obviously, the outcome of the games made me happy. Every team I wanted to win, James, won. That never happens to me, bro. So let's give a round of applause to me because I'm very happy. All my teams that I wanted to win won. We got it done. Man Coverage is here. We're going to be talking some football today. We've got to give shout out to the people that bring us to you, National Streaming Sports. We also want to give our shout out to our sponsors, SeatGeek.com. Go to SeatGeek.com, enter promo code NSS, get your money off, $20 off right now. Also go to betus.com and place a wager, because it's football time and bets are to be had. Obviously, people are making picks. Some folks made some picks yesterday for the last time. Mr. Lee Corso put on the headgear. Damn, he looks good with that Brutus head on. And honestly, he was one of the few people, him and Pat McAfee were the only two people that picked the Buckeyes. James, I guess I'll ask you, what is your thoughts about Lee Corso? What do you think about him? What do you think about him as it pertains to college football? Did you like him? Did you like watching him over the years? What do you got?
He's an institution. I mean, honest to God, you look back at College Game Day from the beginning. The show is completely different now from what it once was. In the beginning, they were just in studio with Craig James. Yes, Craig James, the same guy who got Mike Leach fired for sticking his kid in a closet after concussion protocol, which has now become concussion protocols. What's his name? The old host who got taken over by Reese Davis. Chris Fowler. And now you're on campuses across the country. Schools want you. You have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that show up to this. You've got Washington State fans who are transporting their flag around the country. It has become as big a deal, if not bigger, than the actual game itself. And Lee Corso is the reason behind it. And let's be honest, it's not like Lee Corso is going to be remembered for his coaching.
No.
Indiana, he was assistant at Florida State, assistant at Navy. But look at the character he became on TV. He's kind of what Dick Vitale is to basketball.
Yeah, except less annoying.
Yeah, except less annoying. You're right.
No, he is, man. And this is a guy who loves college football. I think that was said yesterday, and I just want to say that again. I think that's why he became such a household name. That's why everyone loved him, was because he loved college football. He loved what he did, and you could tell it. He didn't have to say it. You could see it on his face. And that's what was neat. And, game day to me, I don't watch it much anymore, mainly because as I watched it yesterday, I realized how annoying Desmond Howard is, and he drives me insane. So I can't really stand him. But I do like Pat McAfee. He makes it a little bit more fun, and bringing him on and having the GOAT, Nick Saban, on there was a good move, I think. and helped them a lot, bringing those two guys on, because Desmond Howard's a schlub. But, it was interesting to me to watch it again yesterday and see it again for the first time and, see this guy off, because it was pretty cool, all the things he did and how fun he made college football over the years. I remember when I was a little kid watching it, I always loved him and how he, just said whatever came to his mind. And, I don't know if you saw the part yesterday where Kurt Herbstreit was talking about when he was ripping on Barry Alvarez. And Barry Alvarez came up to confront him at this awards banquet. And Corso's like, whatever, sweetheart, and just walked off. And I thought that was hilarious. So congrats to Lee. He said yesterday he felt like he had died, the way that everybody was talking to him. And it was kind of like a funeral, but the guy's still alive. So I'm glad he was celebrating, got to enjoy it. It was pretty cool getting to see his final pick, and that he got to do it, in the place where he did his first one. I thought that was kind of cool. Didn't you, James?
Yeah. I mean, it's the question I have now is, will game day try to continue the head? Because it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, no, I've heard they're not going to do it anymore. They're going to retire it. And I think that's smart, dude. I mean, there's nobody else that can take that place. Do you think?
But I mean, it's such a part of game day of having that right before you sign off.
Yeah.
Where, I mean, you have that whole, the elation when the home crowd gets their team picked to win, the absolute fury. Like, I remember, it was Wisconsin versus Michigan, and I was at the game, and Corso picked Michigan.
Yeah.
And they were throwing full cans of beer at the stage. I mean, that's why they have the screen behind them now, because Wisconsin fans were throwing beer at the stage. I mean, it is. You got to do it. That's
maybe you have the guest person do it, pick their winner at the end or something. I don't know, but I don't think you can do headgear anymore. I mean, that was his thing, and I just don't think anybody else can take that guy's place. There's some people that are irreplaceable, and he's one of them. And I will never forget the time when him and Will Ferrell were up there, and then the time he put the USC stuff on, and him and Kurt Herbstreit were hitting swords, and Herbstreit accidentally hit him in the face and cut his lip open. Oh my God, that was classic. So, end of an era, and it was kind of sad, seeing the final show. But I'm glad that he's retiring and that he gets to do that and got to do it for so long, man. He's a lucky human being to get to do what he loved for such a long time. That doesn't always happen. And so, we'll always remember him. Somebody that may not get to do what he loves for a long time is Kalen DeBoer. It did not look good yesterday, James. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not ready to go ahead and say Florida State is back. I mean, this is a team that won 2 games last year. I think bringing in Gus Malzahn was helpful. I think they came, ready to play yesterday, all of that. But to me, that game was more an indictment on Alabama and them not being, the GOAT is gone. And this guy is just not Nick Saban. Nobody is. And yet they expect him to be Nick Saban. What did you think about the game? What did you think about the team in Alabama? What's your reaction to this 31-17 drubbing of the Crimson Tide?
It was worse than it actually showed. Honestly, I mean, it's. I felt bad for. I mean, you watched the first drive, and I was saying to myself, this game's gonna be over by the third quarter, and Alabama's gonna probably win by 2 to 3 touchdowns. You take off that first drive of the game from Alabama, it was like a completely different team showed up. I mean, their offensive line was getting constantly blown off the ball. Caden Proctor, for a guy that's going to be a top 10 pick, I mean, he better try to erase that game from people's memories, because he was getting used and abused in the run game, in the pass game. Like, he was just getting destroyed. And it's not like Tony White was doing these exotic freaking blitz packages. It's not like this defense was that much better than last year's Florida State defense. Yet it was from the get-go, it looked like Florida State was the dominant team.
Yeah.
I just, they did nothing original from a pass. I mean, everything was very conservative. They didn't try to do anything exotic for Ty Simpson. They didn't try to get the ball hardly at all to freaking Ryan Williams, which I don't understand that thought process at all. And their running game is kind of
Yeah, they had nobody run for over 30 yards. I mean, that's the biggest thing to me that stood out was Alabama used to be able to just run at you, and they had better players than you on the line. They had a better running back than anybody else in the country usually, and they could just run the football at will, and that's not the case anymore. And I've got to be honest, nothing against Ty Simpson. I mean, was he the reason they lost? Not really.
No.
But he's not, to me, a guy that sticks out. He's not a guy that I'm like, whoa, you got something here. I mean, I think you seriously have to look at moving to the freshman. I mean, I don't know if you want to do that right now, but I'm just saying that this guy's not going to win you 10, 11 games. I'm sorry. That's just not who he is. And to me, he looks like a backup quarterback in college football. Am I crazy?
He's a game manager at best. I mean,
at best.
You look at this team, though, it's more than just the quarterback. I mean, you could change out the quarterback all you want.
Yes.
I mean, this is – I mean, Ryan Williams not – I mean, I heard that he had a hamstring issue, which may or may not be true. Who knows? But, I mean, this team doesn't scare you at all on either side of the line of scrimmage. And you look back at Nick Saban's teams, both offense and defensive line was always not just good, but dominant. I mean, here's a stat that's going to blow you away.
Give it to me.
Take off the first drive. Alabama carried the ball for 17 carries for 19 yards the rest of the game.
Yeah. And there was not a commitment to the run. It seemed like they kind of abandoned it.
Yeah.
Abandoned the run, especially in the second half. And I didn't understand that. And I agree with you that they used to have better players, but also they had an amazing game plan. They had a belief that they were going to win. This is not Nick Saban's Alabama anymore. Everyone still talks like Nick Saban is still there. Everyone still refers to Alabama like Nick Saban is still the coach. He's not, James. He's not coming back.
No,
he's
not.
Gone. And now it's Kalen DeBoer's team, and it's always hard to replace a legend, especially the GOAT. It's very, very hard. It's damn near impossible. But this guy, I think they're in trouble because this schedule doesn't get much easier. Florida State, I'm not sure how good they are or how good they aren't. I do, like I mentioned, I think having Gus Malzahn there calling plays helps. But Thomas Castellanos can change his name to Tommy, but that doesn't make him good, James. That doesn't make him good.
Well, he's solid, but I think people are really overestimating what he did yesterday.
He completed 9 passes, bro.
Yeah. He
9 passes.
And he was able to bail him out when pressure came. That's it.
Yes.
I mean, but end of the day, it was the line of scrimmage that won this game.
Correct.
On both sides, Florida State won this game. I feel bad for Kalen DeBoer because he's a good coach.
Yes.
The problem is if he goes 9-3, it'd be like going 3-9 in Bama people's minds. And honestly, this team, it's not that good. Plain and simple. Like, if you watch what you saw yesterday, would you put him in the top 4 in the SEC today? I wouldn't.
I don't know. I'm not sure how good the SEC is after yesterday, but we'll certainly find out. I don't know where I put this Alabama team. I've got to see more from them. But what I saw yesterday was no bueno. And I got to tell you, Florida State, they did what they had to do. Give them credit for winning that game. I mean, last year they couldn't win any games, and it was a disaster. And everything that could go wrong went wrong. And, you can blame the quarterback, you can blame the coach, you can blame everybody, but it was just a total effort of disaster last year. Now it looks like they've got some things figured out. They certainly showed up. They looked ready to play. The defensive, play calling was better. The offensive play calling was better. Kudos to Florida State and getting a victory because it's been a long time. That last year was a long year for them, but I'm not sure how good they are yet either, but this guy's in trouble. What the hell does he do, James, after that game? What do you tell your team? What's he doing today? I'm worried about him.
Well, especially the way they came into the year last year. Came into this year and saying how good practice was, and this is a far superior team to last year's team. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is like, they came out and laid a freaking egg.
Yeah.
I'm just,
especially after losing 4 games last year. I thought they'd be like, okay, we've got to come out and show everybody that was not, the new Bama. We got to win this game. And I just thought there was no like sense of urgency. There was no like, we've got to do this. There was no like, I don't know, man. It wasn't there. And that concerns me because Bama has a, pretty difficult schedule moving forward. And this was by no stretch of the imagination their toughest game of the year, right?
No, I mean, if they play like the way they did today, I'm not gonna lie. I think 6-6 is a very realistic possibility.
Yeah, I was thinking about to say 7-5, but 7-5, 8-4, he's gone if that happens. And I hate to say that after one game, but I'm just telling you, if he doesn't get things figured out, if he doesn't turn things around really quickly, they're in big time trouble. Another guy who's had trouble in his first game of the year would be Mr. Dance-a-thon, Southern accent, Brian Kelly. I think some of the LSU faithful were ready to chuck this guy out of town until yesterday because he was able to finally go down and win his first game of the year for the first time since he's been the head coach there. And, I got to give it to LSU. They fixed the defense, James. This defense was much improved over last year.
Yeah.
The corner that transferred in, I think was he from West Virginia?
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Thank you. Number 4. He's a baller, dude. I loved watching him play. And then obviously getting Harold Perkins back was a big, big difference to me. This guy is a difference maker. He can get after it. What did you think about the LSU defense as opposed to last year's LSU defense?
They look sharper. Like, honest to God, it's been a few years where you've seen that LSU defense that had that Christmas. I mean, you go back through past coaches from, heck, Saban on up. They always had that prototypical guy coming off the edge. If they had a stud D tackle, the defense was good, and their linebackers went from side to side. And they always had a safety that could just knock you out. Is it to the level that we saw under Les Miles? No. But it's a hell of a lot better than we saw the previous 3 years. And if they have that kind of identity, yeah, they can play for the SEC title. Because, Nussmeier, he's a good quarterback. He's really, he may not have all the pedigree, but, man, you look at it, he's a very good quarterback. And I don't think people give him the credit he deserves. I've been saying all along, I think he is realistically, right now, in my opinion, the front runner for the Heisman. Coming out right out of the gates, getting a win in a tough environment of Death Valley. Yeah, was it a spectacular game? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But what people are going to remember is November.
Yeah. Well, and he threw another touchdown. If you don't recall, he had about what was that, a 40 or 50-yard touchdown where the guy scored and they took it away. It was to Berrien Brown in the corner of the end zone. Even the in-studio officials expert, which always agrees with the officials, he was even against that call. There's no way. They said it was an incomplete pass. I'm like, what, dude? He caught the ball, hit the pylon, and then went out of bounds. Whether he drops it after that, it doesn't even matter. So you add that touchdown in, add that yardage in, that takes Nussmeier up near 300 yards with 2 touchdowns. So if he had those kind of numbers, I definitely think of him as the front runner to the Heisman. But he still has a shot to win it because you know what? He's got good weapons. He's got good skills. He played well yesterday. I like the way that he didn't get rattled. He seemed to keep his poise through the entire game. And, he's still figuring things out. It was week 1. We understand that. But, I like this Caden Durham kid, too. The holes weren't really there, but this guy still made something out of nothing at times, and he looks like an LSU running back from the past. What do you think about Clemson after this game? The running game was not there, James. They could not run the football at all. They had 32 yards rushing the entire game.
Yeah.
How are you going to win and make it to the college football playoff if you can't? I mean, I know we just gave LSU's defense credit. Okay, we just did. They're good. I like their defense, but 32 yards rushing, James. What are they going to do?
I've said for a while I have had a problem with Dabo Sweeney's offensive lines from his inception of being there. I mean, he's had one kid ever get drafted off his offensive lines. One. It's shocking how you could be a national title contender and won national titles, not one, but multiple, and only have one offensive lineman drafted in a 16-year career. That's insane. That is absolutely freaking crazy. But I do like that defense. I mean, their defensive line especially is legit. I mean, have they had better ones in the past? Yeah, but I mean, if that offensive line doesn't take care of Cade Klubnik, I mean, granted, they do play in the ACC, so life's going to get a lot easier really quick. They're not going to be playing LSU's every weekend. They're not going to make it past the first round of the playoff. They're just not. I mean,
I think they're going to be okay for the season. As you just mentioned, I like that point. They're going to be okay in the ACC. As far as ACC goes, they match up well. I loved their defense yesterday. Their defense played a great game. That Ronan Hannafin, number 5, he had 12 tackles. He was in the backfield all day. He was making stops. I like that number 17, Wade Woodaz, the linebacker. He impressed. Number 8, Avion Terrell. He impressed me. So I liked what they were doing on defense, and maybe the offense will get better. My thing was, it was the first game, exactly. But the thing that bothered me was Chris Fowler and Kurt Herbstreit kept saying Antonio Williams is out. This is why it's not working. And one guy wasn't going to make a huge difference to me on that offense last night. I get it. He was gone. That affected them. But why did they keep saying that?
Well, I mean, Herbstreit's kids both played for Clemson. Yeah. So, I mean, that has a little bit to do with it. Cade Klubnik is good. Do I think he's a first-round draft pick? Yeah. Do I think he's a top 10 draft pick? No. Like, there is flaws in his game. Like, yes. I think he gets out of the pocket. Like, the second there's a little bit of pressure, where is he going? He's running to the right. Like, he's got to be more comfortable in the pocket, or maybe he just doesn't trust his offensive line. He trusts his offensive line as much as I trust him. I mean, I look at that Clemson team, and I mean, you don't have Travis Etienne or the running backs they've had the last year, Maffa or Shipley. You don't have that guy there, and the receiving core isn't as deep as it once was. I mean, the Amari Rodgers, the Higgins, go down the list.
Yeah, Deion Kane, all those guys.
Yeah, they're not
Sammy
there.
Watkins. I mean, Montavious Bryant. I mean, they seriously used to have studs at the wide receiver position, and I don't think they really do anymore. I mean, they had a couple drops last night that were critical.
Yeah.
And then Randall as a running back, to me, he's just kind of meh. So I'm worried about Clemson's offense. The good news for Clemson is they play in the ACC, and that is a real good thing for them because the ACC kind of sucks. So they're in good shape there. Let's hit on another team that made the playoff last year, and let's just be honest, they certainly made it because they had Ashton Genty. They no longer have him. 34-7, they get their asses kicked by South Florida. Now, to South Florida's credit, their coach came in. This guy, since he's left Tennessee's offense hasn't been the same, maybe until yesterday. And this offense looked like Tennessee's offense from 2022. What did you think about this game? Was it more South Florida's good, or is it Boise State sucks? Make it make sense.
I think it's both, honestly. I think everybody had this high opinion of Maddox Madsen last year. You take away a first-round draft pick, at running back, and this Boise team looks a lot more pedestrian, really freaking quick. Like 25 of 46. I mean, when you have a QBR rating of 26, you're not going to win many games.
No.
And I mean, maybe they're going through another with the NIL era, maybe we're going through another era where Boise's going to have to rebuild itself. But boy, South Florida looked pretty freaking good. Like, the speed of their team is just shocking. Like, honest to God, you're getting back to what South Florida, when they're at their best, it's their speed that really kills. And they look really good. Like, I went from thinking, this is another South Florida team where, man, they could really compete for the American this year.
Yeah. Byron Brown looks legit.
Yeah.
16 to 24, he was efficient throwing the football. And then when he ran the football, he looked like Earl Campbell, bouncing off people and running people over. It was impressive, to say the least. Let's talk about another team that, is kind of rebuilding after last year, losing the Heisman Trophy and Travis Hunter, losing Shador, their Jersey retired quarterback. Gosh, that makes me sick to even say. But Colorado, they're playing Caden Salter at quarterback, a guy originally, committed here to Tennessee. Then he played down at Liberty for a while. Georgia Tech, we all thought was going to be a factor in the ACC. I still do think they're probably going to be a factor. It's kind of an up and down. Looked like week one. What did you think about Georgia Tech being able to win this game? And what did you think about seeing Colorado with post Travis Hunter?
I was, honest to God, quasi impressed with Colorado. I thought you were going to see a huge drop off after Shador. I mean, they lost a lot from last year's team.
They did.
I really like Caden Salter, but man, he was going to have to really carry this freaking team. They look like they have more diversification in their offense than they had in years past, where it just seemed like they were really focused on Hunter and Horn. Now, I mean, they're throwing the ball. I mean, 17 receptions were had by 11 guys, 10 guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. I literally thought going into this game, it would be close in the first quarter, maybe second quarter, third quarter. Georgia Tech and Haynes King were just going to pull away, because I think Haynes King is just a hell of a quarterback. I mean, he never got the opportunities he should have got at Texas A&M. And Georgia Tech can play the game. And I thought there was going to be a 2-3 touchdown game. Colorado making this a game where Tech had to score in the final minutes of the game to win it. I take my hat off to Coach Sanders. I think now this team is actually they could be a bowl team.
No, I agree. I was impressed by them too. I thought it might look bad, but he did, going out and getting that left tackle and starting him as a freshman. He looked like he should be out there. He looked pretty good. And Salter too, as you mentioned, I think they're going to have to run him. I think they're going to have to do a little RPO action with him. He's going to have to carry the load football wise, run the ball, pitching it, whatever, and get back. He's wearing that number 3. So he kind of reminded me of Darian Hagan a little bit, not as good. But, he's going to have to run the ball. So going to be interesting to see that. Last thing here, Tennessee took down Syracuse. What did you think about Joey Aguilar and the Vols, buddy?
I really liked that running game. It was first down, they were diving up the middle. Second down, they were doing a zone read. Third down, it was a play action pass. And they owned that line of scrimmage. I thought literally it should have been a bigger scoring game. They should have won by more. If Syracuse doesn't have the high flying offense that it does, but this is very similar to last year's team, and I'm impressed with Tennessee thus far, coming in out of the gates like that, because this was a game with Joey Aguilar. I'm not gonna lie, I thought Syracuse had a shot of winning this game, and Tennessee really imposed their will, especially with all the Nico drama.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what this team was going to look like, because there was just it was soap opera-esque.
Yeah, no, it was a rough offseason, and I just wasn't sure what to expect from this kid who's been on campus for a month and a half, and he looked sharp. The defense looked good, especially in the first half, and I think Tennessee's going to be all right. We're going to get to the primetime game from yesterday right after this.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
God damn, that kid has a lot of energy. I wish I had about an inch of it. But he is right. Go to SeatGeek.com right now. Enter promo code NSS. Get you some tickets to the game. Speaking of the game, we had a big one yesterday in Columbus, Ohio. Right now we have Mark Gibler from Buckeye Huddle joining us. Top 10 all-time leading passer Steve Bellisari with us right now. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing well.
You hear us, Steve?
I got you guys. I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm doing well. Football's back, man. What a better time of year, right?
Yeah, man. Week 1 was pretty awesome. I just want to get your guys feeling. Mark, I'm going to go to you first. What was your reaction, man, after this game was over? Was this what you expected? Was it not? What did you think?
Yeah, well, I got to wear it. I did pick Texas by a point, but my anticipation coming into the game was that it was basically a coin flip and that it was going to be low scoring. So I was in the ballpark on kind of how it played out. But I was incredibly impressed with Julian Sayin and his composure, his decision making. I know the game plan protected him a little bit, but he basically did everything he was asked to do and more. The receivers didn't help him early in the game. I think if there was one thing that if you were Texas coming into this game, I think if there was one thing you were going to hang your hat on, it was going to be that your guy was going to be more ready for this game than Julian Sayin, and that didn't look to be the case.
I agree 100%. And James, let me get one more here before you go. Steve, I want to ask you, first game ever starting against the number 1 team in the nation. Obviously, I would have been nervous. He didn't look that nervous. I thought he, played pretty well and was handling the situation pretty good. What did you think about, the Buckeyes quarterback in his first game? And what did you think about the guy that everybody said was going to win the Heisman, was the greatest quarterback ever, who didn't look so good?
Yeah, I mean, proud of Sayin for how he played. I think, to Mark's point, we protected him a little bit. We were pretty one-dimensional. We couldn't run the ball.
No.
And that was surprising, right? That wasn't on my bingo card for this game. I felt if we could establish a running game, it would have opened up the pass. And, we were pretty pedestrian on offense, but got to give Texas a lot of credit. They're a really good defense. And for Julian to play the way he did in his first game like that was outstanding. I think the future is extremely bright for that young kid. And you guys saw that the moment wasn't too big for him, right? I think in those games, you got to watch the decision-making and, the timing of things. And I thought his timing and poise was, looked like a veteran out there. Some of the best I've seen, actually, in a long time at Ohio State. So pretty impressed with how he did. On the flip side, we learned that Archie Manning's pretty human. But at the same time, I think our defense is really damn good, too. I'm sure he's got a few throws that he wish he could have got back. But overall, our boys look good. And, the fact that he didn't play well allowed us to win that game.
Question for both you guys. Like, I keep going back to this game more and more and saying that, Day and the coordinators really outcoached Sark. I look at the fact that Ryan Wingo only had 1 target in this game. I mean, granted, you have 2 new coordinators in Patricia and Hartline. What was your guys' thought process of how you grade them out in the game? And what do you think, how do you thought Sark did from Texas's perspective too?
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, listen, I was surprised that Texas offense, it looked a little pedestrian at time. Sark's normally good at drawing up different plays to get mismatches, and you didn't see a lot of that, right? Typically, they get pretty exotic with motions and different things, and there wasn't a ton of that, and I think that's a tribute to Coach Patricia and what he did on defense. I mean, we're seeing a level of defensive play calling that you see in the NFL, and
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job of mixing in and out of man coverage and zone, and really he confused Arch, which was surprising. And I think they gave him looks that he just hasn't seen from us before. And I think we're going to get a lot of that this year because, in the back end, when you have a guy like Caleb Downs as a coach, he's another coach on the field. Those guys are never going to be in the wrong call. And so you can get pretty fancy with what you're doing, and we saw that. So I'm really excited to see what our defense continues to dial up throughout the year.
Yeah, I always do my 10 observations, and one of them is always my game ball. I give a game ball to somebody, and my game ball was Matt Patricia this week. I thought he had Arch Manning in hell for 3 hours. I mean, he just and Steve Sarkisian's considered maybe have any answers. They did a great job pre-snap of making everything look the same. And then obviously once the ball was snapped, it was a bunch of different looks to kind of keep them off balance. And some things we didn't see Jim Knowles do, quite frankly, some odd fronts and, just some really interesting things. And I think a lot of people are eager to see the Ohio State offense open things up a little bit now that Julian Sayan's got this one out of the way. I'm eager to see the Ohio State defense build on what they did on Saturday because he didn't show all his cards. So that was a brilliant defensive performance by coach and players. Huge, A++ there for Patricia. With Hartline, there's no question that Ryan Day is still going to be the judge and jury on offensive game planning and things like that. And his hands are definitely going to be involved in everything. But given the conservative game plan, they stuck with it. Texas never gave them a reason to get out of it. They never trailed. I think it's kind of to be determined on Hartline and just kind of the offense. But there was a ton to like on Saturday just because of how Sayan handled himself. We know the receivers are world-class. I suspect the offensive line, which did really well in pass protection, I suspect the offensive line will be a lot better in a few weeks than it is now just because you got a bunch of new bodies. It's a brand new offensive line. I know some of the names are back, but they're in different spots. This is a brand new offensive line, so it's only going to get better. And I think there's going to be a lot of room for growth there. And again, just kind of a TBD on the offense, just because again it was very conservative and vanilla by design on Saturday.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I mean, I one of my concerns was, does this defense take a while to get going, considering there's a new guy at the controls? I don't worry about that any longer. One of the other things that did concern me a little bit, and Mark, obviously you covered this all off season, is the defensive line losing all 4 starters. Not, some people being concerned with the depth and all that. These guys, I thought, played pretty well. And Mark, I guess I'll ask you first. What was your takeaway from the D-line, and what did you think about, who he chose to play, what each guy did? What was your takeaway from that?
Yeah, I thought they got a great effort out of the D-line. I thought it was interesting. CJ Hicks gave him some really good stuff in the second half, which was really cool to see just from a story, just knowing CJ since he was a freshman at Alter. Was really cool to see him finally kind of make his mark in a game like this. So I think we can say that he's going to be involved in the defense, because we hear this every offseason with CJ. It's CJ is going to bring this or that to the defense, and it just hasn't materialized. And we did see him do that on Saturday, so that's a good thing moving forward. And then, I thought they got great minute. Cade McDonald had a career day in terms of his production, so he was good. Edric Houston was noticeable. They got some good minutes from Will Smith Jr. Bo Atkinson did a nice job once, especially after Kenyatta had to go out with an injury. So I think people have panicked too much about their first 4 or 5 guys. Those first 4 or 5 guys are, in my opinion, just as talented as the guys they just lost. I think the NFL draft is going to show us that here over the next 2 years. But I think still some questions. Okay, like what if something happens to McDonald or Houston? How does that look? And the good news is with Grambling and Ohio up, I think we're going to start to see those guys get a little deeper into the rotation. I think they really rode that top group to make sure they won this game on Saturday, and now they'll be able to rotate a little deeper moving forward.
Steve, you look at the last couple years with Junkins and Henderson at running back, and do you think this current running back class with Donaldson and Peoples is like the comparisons? I mean, people are trying to compare them like they think it's like plug and play. That this is just, I mean, you're looking at these running backs, like the last pair of running backs this good were Bush and Lendale White out USC. That it's an unfair comparison, that they're just never going to be as good, and it's just going to be a different type of offense this point moving forward.
Yeah, I think Texas did a really good job of saying we're going to stop the run because you got a first-time quarterback. They wanted to establish that, and Texas was like, no, you're going to have to beat us throwing the ball. So, we were running into some fronts and some 7-8 man boxes that we probably didn't like because we were trying to establish the run. And, Mark brought it up earlier. This is the first time this offense has really been together, right? A lot of familiar names, but in different spots. So we're only going to see that continue to get better. So I think, to your point, they have the potential to be just home run hitters, right? I mean, it's going to be special. And I think the offense that we saw this week versus 3 weeks from now is going to be drastically different, right? They're going to open the playbook. They're going to do some things to help, get those guys in space more because of the passing game threat. So it's going to open up and continue to get better. You saw flashes of it, which was good. We got to be a little bit more consistent, but Texas did a really good job of defending that. Like I said, opening up against a team like that is a tall task, right? More times than not, the defense usually is ahead of the game, right? When it comes to start of the season, right? It's just defenses are typically more organized, and they have a lot of veterans on that side. So we're going to be fine there. I'm excited to see what they can do with those 2 running backs because it's only going to help Sand in the future.
Yeah, and I think they'll definitely get better. As Mark mentioned, the offensive line, most of them are in new spots. And Hinsman obviously played a lot of center last year, but the rest of the guys have been moved around. Some of them are new. But I think the running game will get better. Mark, I want to ask you, do you think that the young guys, we didn't get to see a whole lot of them yesterday, obviously the freshmen, Bo Jackson, Turbo, do you think that we'll see those guys a lot over the next 2 weeks? What do you expect from them? Do you think they'll add to this run game as we get moving here?
Yeah, I think you'll see, especially Bo, I think you'll see a lot of him the next couple of games. Long term over the course of the season, I think they're probably going to mostly ride Donaldson and Peoples in the bigger games, but I do think we'll start to see glimpses of some of these other guys. The thing with Turbo, you got to remember, is he didn't show up until the summer.
Yeah.
Bo's been here all off season, but Turbo was a late arrival, so he brings a different dynamic too. So it'll be interesting to see if they're able to work him in a little more. But very high on both those guys long term, and yeah, I think Bo Jackson will receive a good number of carries by the end of the season. Just to kind of build off of what Steve was saying about the backs, again, I thought Texas did a great job defensively. I think sometimes you just have to tip your cap a little bit to the defense. I think there's a good chance we saw the best 2 defenses in college football yesterday play each other.
Agreed.
And I do think with people specifically, because I think Donaldson started to find something there later in the game. I think Peoples was pressing. You got to remember, he's from Texas. This was a huge game for him. Yeah. This was a first, kind of real action. I mean, he saw some time last year, but nothing like this. And so to me, he was pressing a little bit, maybe trying to do a little bit too much instead of taking those 2 or 3 yards when they were there. But I am I going to sit here and say they're going to be as good as Henderson and Judkins? No, because I think that's as good of a tandem as maybe Ohio State's ever had. But I do think they'll both be much better, more comfortable moving forward now that Peoples has the Texas game off his back, and again, C.J. Donaldson being a transfer is still getting used to the offense. So I suspect, much like the offensive line, I suspect we'll look back in 4 or 5 weeks and be like, yeah, they're a lot better now.
Yeah, I agree. And, hopefully the offense, continues to grow from this. But, Steve, I just want to ask you, I really like the fact that these teams, played in this game. I like the fact that we started the season off with a big-time matchup. I don't think Texas should be penalized for losing this game. I think that they showed up. I think they played fine. I mean, it was a 7-point game. They had a chance to win at the end. What do you think about teams, going out of conference and playing like a big-time matchup like this? Are you with me that you think that, hopefully the committee gives Texas, credit for this game, even though they lost?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think, if you're a coach, you want to know where you guys are at as a team. And that's why you schedule a game like this, right? I mean, you can look at this both perspectives. For Ohio State, coming off a national championship, you want to know right away, like, where are we at? How good are we again, right? Like, because we got key players, and I think we got a glimpse of, hey, these guys can be really good again. The same way for Texas, right? They had a good run into the playoffs as well, and you want to schedule games like this because if you're going to make a run at the national title, you're going to have to play in big games. And I'd rather find out early rather than late of where this team is at and what we need to work on. And, the 2 best defenses probably in the country played yesterday. I think LSU looked really good on defense last night as well.
Yeah.
But,
Very much so.
The reality is you want to get a bar of where your team's at so you can start working on those things to build into a playoff run. And both teams now, I put it this way, I don't want to see Texas later, right?
No.
Archie Manning's going to get better. He's a hell of a football player.
Yeah.
And he, was baptism by fire yesterday. And he's only going to improve from that. So I fundamentally believe that if you want to be a championship team, you have to play good competition. And so I love that we have games like this scheduled early, actually.
It's funny looking at not only the Ohio State-Texas game, but there were a lot of games. This question's for both you guys. Heck, there were 7 4th-down calls in yesterday's game. And, it kind of shocked me because usually, the first game of the year, you try to go in a little conservative and try to build yourself up. Man, in some cases, these guys were going at it, especially that 4th down, 4th and goal. You got to go for that one. Were you guys shocked at the play calling that they were going for it on 4th as much as they did on both sides of the ball?
I was not. Sark's aggressive. Ryan Day's become more aggressive on 4th down, which I like. I loved it personally. Nothing drives me more insane than watching teams in close games, punt 4th and 2 from their opponent's 41-yard line, and then the punter puts it in the end zone anyway. It's like, wow, you gained 20 yards of field position instead of trying to go get points. Like, congrats. Like, I was I don't think any. I thought all the 4th down calls were the correct decision. I really did.
What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I would say that's a newer trend in football, right? We're seeing that in the NFL. We're seeing it in college. People are going for it more, which, as an offensive guy, like, let's not take the ball out of our hands and leave it up to fate. Like, go after it and get your points, right? I love it. That's why we won the game, by the way, right? They were 1 for 5 on 4th downs, right? And so that's a tribute to Patricia and the defense. But, Sark didn't want to leave it up to chance. I guarantee if they scored late there, they were going for 2.
Yeah.
Right? So, they're not gonna kick it and go into overtime on the road. So I think it's a great trend that we're starting to see in football, and why not be aggressive to that end? You don't gain a lot. If you're only going to gain 10, 15 yards of field advantage, doesn't make sense. So go for it.
No, I'm with you. And Mark, you said you gave your game ball to Matt Patricia. I have no problem with that. I was extremely impressed with the way he had the game plan set up, the way that he made adjustments. Pretty much everything impressed me. But some other guys that really stood out to me, and I want to get your thoughts on them, were, obviously losing our Simon and some of those linebackers, we weren't sure 100% what that was going to look like, but Arvell Reese, I thought, played tremendous. He was in the backfield making sacks, making tackles for loss. He looked really good, in my opinion, and stood out on the tape. And then also number one back there, Davidson. I can't recall if he had a PI. I don't think he did, but correct me if I'm wrong there. And then obviously, Caleb Downs. I mean, that guy is a just true difference maker. What did you think about those guys, and what did you think about some of the newer guys that were playing in our defense?
Yeah, I think Arvell Reese. I think people in Columbus kind of have been waiting for this and kind of knowing this was coming. I don't think the national media was much aware of him at this point, and they are now. I can tell you that. Do I think he's going to win the Butkus this year? No. I think there's a lot of good linebackers out there that are returning that have the name. You got Perkins and Hill and Weeks and a lot of those guys. But it would not shock me at all if he worked his way into the Butkus discussion by the end of the season, from kind of coming out of left field for a lot of national people. He's an absolute freak of nature. First guy off the bus, which is saying something because they also have Sonny Styles. So this guy is just unbelievable physically, and the instincts have been developing the last few years, and he's been getting better and better. He is an absolutely elite linebacker, and I first saw him at Glenville going into a sophomore year, and I was talking about him I don't know what he is, because I didn't know at the time, would he stay at linebacker, would he play inside, would he play outside, would he move down and be like a rush end? But he's an alien, and so to watch his progression to now has been incredible. I've never been anti-Igbinosun. I know he drives a lot of Ohio State fans nuts. I love the way he plays. Yes, would I like a fewer PIs? Of course. But I love the way he plays, and he is absolutely their energy guy on defense. I don't think people truly appreciate maybe how bad that secondary was when he first transferred in. It's because it's been a few years now since he transferred in. They had some issues back there.
Oh, yeah.
And they had a lot of issues with energy and attitude, and that changed the minute he walked in that door. So I like his game probably a lot more than maybe even a lot of Ohio State fans do. And there's really nothing else I can add about Caleb Downs. He's the best defensive player in college football. He is the most cerebral defensive player that I think I've ever seen at Ohio State. There's plays he makes where I'm just like, how in the world did he get from point A to point B on that? When you look at the first Texas game where he made the play in the backfield, eventually he didn't make the actual tackle eventually, but he strung it out. And I'm just like, how did he get there? He just does things you can't game plan for.
Yeah.
I do have one last question for Steve, and it's a little off topic, but let's talk some Bishop Watterson football and that Bellisari to Bellisari connection. How was the game against Middletown yesterday? I was tracking it. I was trying to track it on Twitter. So give us the updates on Bishop Watterson football.
We pulled a close one out, man. It was 14-13. That was a good football team we played from Delaware, man. They had a lot of good athletes on both sides of the ball. Probably the biggest team we've ever played up front, and that's saying a lot because TCC had some really big guys last year. But it's special, man. It's a lot of fun. And just talking to my son, about this. How cool is it to be able to play with your cousin and then, have your dad and uncle coach, right?
Yeah.
And have the success we're having. I don't think you could write a better story if I'm being really honest. It's hard to describe what it's like, but we got a really good football team. You think about it, the last 2 weeks we played Big Walnut, who, is one of the better Division II teams in the state of Ohio. And then, we just played the best team from the state of Delaware. We got a good football team, man. It's fun to watch. And I tell everyone, come out and check us out, man. We'll go play with anybody in the state and, for that matter, maybe the country, right? And I know that's a big statement, but when you have some of the players we do, and, in particular, Drew Bellisari is a hell of a quarterback, and he's the reason why we're able to do a lot of the things we can that goes unnoticed. That team yesterday, they brought a lot of 7-8 man pressures. They hit Drew a lot, and we were able to be successful and win that game because of the threat that he poses. So it's fun to coach, and I can't wait to see what he does at the next level.
No doubt. Well, we'll be watching, man. I'm going to check it out later today. I've got my NFHS subscription, so I'm going to watch it tonight. I was a little caught up with some college football yesterday, but we'll check it out, and we'll keep cheering for you, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Okay, Steve?
You got it, Ben. Don't judge the game too much. It was a little ugly to start, man. We had 3 turnovers to start the game, but we finally got our act together and played pretty well on defense. So
hey, I'm gonna take it for what it's worth, brother. And I'm a fan of you guys, so I'll give you a little levity.
I appreciate it, man. Great to hear from you guys, and look forward to doing this again, man.
All right, we'll talk to you real soon, buddy. Thank you for joining us. That is Steve Bellisari, former quarterback at Ohio State. Mark, we're going to get you out of here too because we're about out of time. But before we go, I do want to tell you we appreciate you joining us, and I do want to get your thoughts on what's next. What are you looking for as the Buckeyes are going into these games where they're going to get to play some additional folks and going to get to probably not be quite as tight as far as the score goes. What are you looking for in the next couple of weeks with these matchups with some lesser power teams?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's going to be offensively, opening it up a little bit, letting Julian Sayin kind of let it rip a little bit, put him in positions where he could make mistakes, because better to make them now than in November. Building that cohesion on the offensive line, getting some young guys. There's some young guys that we didn't see a lot of or any of in some cases on Saturday that I'm really looking forward to seeing. I'm really looking forward to seeing Fahim Delane. I'm really looking forward to seeing Bo Jackson. There are some guys, Quincy Porter. There are some guys waiting in the wings right now that are super talented that they probably knew they couldn't get in the game on Saturdays, how close and tight that was, but that are almost certainly going to see some time here the next couple of weeks. And so that's really what I'm looking forward to, and just kind of building the depth on the D-line as well.
Perfect. Let us know what's going on in Buckeye Huddle and where everybody can check out your stuff.
Yeah, BuckeyeHuddle.com or at YouTube.com/Buckeye Huddle. The guys were all over the coverage yesterday. There's plenty of stuff there to check out, analysis of the game, thoughts moving forwards, breakdowns of everything. We'll have X's and O's breakdowns from Ross Fulton throughout the week, where he'll do a video breakdown of everything. Certainly some of the new wrinkles Matt Patricia put in. So check us out there. We are it's prime season now, so it's a great time to go over there and check us out and sign up.
Definitely. We will be heading there for sure to check everything out. And also, Mark does a great job with recruiting. So as that heats up towards the end of the season, we'll be getting back on that as well. And hopefully we can bring you back on after a couple more games and get your thoughts on, how the Buckeyes have progressed, if that's cool with you, brother.
Absolutely. Anytime.
All right, Mark. Thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us on your Sunday, and have a great rest of the holiday weekend. Okay.
Thanks, guys. You too.
I appreciate you, Mark. That is Mark Givler from Buckeye Huddle. Does a great job covering the Buckeyes and the Big Ten and taking care of business. We love having him on the show, and we appreciate him for taking his time because he's got to do a lot for his own commitments. So jumping on with us is always helpful. James, we got about 2 minutes left, and we have a little more football going on this evening. We got the Catholics versus the Convicts. We got a little Miami versus Notre Dame. Who you got and why?
I'm going with Notre Dame because I don't buy Miami until they prove it.
Yeah.
We've been told how many times Miami's back. Until it happens, I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I still question the quarterback call at Notre Dame because I kept hearing Kenny Minshew was really outperforming CJ Carr, but let's be honest, the strength of that Notre Dame team is going to be on their running game.
Yeah. Jeremiah Love is legitimate. I expect him to get the ball early and often. Hopefully they'll have, some depth there so they don't run him into the ground like they did last year.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see what the quarterback position looks like with, obviously Leonard moving on and, a new chapter opening up there. But I believe that the depth that Notre Dame has and the talent that Marcus Freeman has poured into that program is going to stand out tonight. I think we're going to
line of scrimmage. Yeah,
we're going to see Miami get pushed around, I assume, from Notre Dame. I'll be surprised if Notre Dame's offensive line doesn't push them around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, and don't forget we had Virginia Tech and South Carolina too as well. I mean, I want to see South Carolina come out and play an entire season rather than just turning it on at a certain point, because a Beamer does more with less than practically everybody except Vanderbilt in the SEC. He overperforms every single time. And then we got to talk about next week's probably biggest game is going to be what? The team up north against Oklahoma. Yeah,
I guess. I still think both those teams suck. But we'll see. We'll see what it looks like. The team up north struggled a little bit yesterday against the Lobos.
That's when you said all the teams you wanted to win won, and I'm like thinking to myself, they won.
I was definitely going for the Lobos. So that's definitely true, but I didn't anticipate them winning. I was just saying I was going for the Buckeyes. I was going for LSU. I wanted to see them beat Dabo because I just love it when he loses.
Sure.
I
want to embarrass you in front of Mark and Steve, and I'm like, nah, that's even too low. That's just
what's that? What do you mean with what?
You all the teams you wanted to win won, and I'm like, Michigan won. Come on, man.
I'm not one of these people that thinks about them only and just lives and dies with everything they do. I don't really care about them, and I just don't really think about them until we have to play them. And I'm not one of these idiot fans that lives on the other team's message boards and their social media sites and comments and everything. Sometimes I do, and I get into weird fights with people, but I try to avoid that at all costs. And I didn't really anticipate the Lobos getting a victory. So that was not one I was harping on, but it will be interesting to see, is Oklahoma better? It was hard to tell from week one on those two teams. So seeing them actually play each other will be interesting next week for sure. But I'm focusing right now on the Beamer Bowl. That's going to start up here in about 58 minutes. So we'll see if old Shane can take down his dad's former team in Virginia Tech. And obviously I'm interested to see Notre Dame and Miami and see Carson Beck, see if he's pissed off about getting duped by one of the Cavender twins. And
but he still got his Lambo.
They found it. I don't know if it got stripped or not, but they definitely found his car after his girl probably drugged him and stole it. So we'll see how that goes. But thanks to everybody for tuning in. Definitely go up to YouTube, check out at Man Coverage 2075. Type it in, it'll come up. Go to Twitter at man_coverage. Also, go to Roku TV. This show will be replayed in an hour on Roku, National Streaming Sports Network. They do a great job of putting our stuff out there and helping us out. Definitely go to SeatGeek.com, type in promo code NSS, get your tickets, and go to BetUs.com and get you some bets put in right now. James, keep your chin up, and I'll talk to you real soon. Okay, brother?
See you, man.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.